Yo, what's good guys, VENM Fire here back from the video, and today we're going to be hopping into another Madden 23 gameplay. This is going to be a post-com gameplay, or commentary rather. Reason being is I just felt like doing a post-com, so that is the reason. But we're going to be running gun U trips on offense or gun Y off trips. You guys always love these videos. Now, I did not play the best with this. I probably could have played better. Specifically in the second game, you'll see I made a couple of mistakes, but overall we played pretty well. And I show some of the good setups that I like. Of course, I haven't been able to play as much, which you guys can notice from the lack of videos. So definitely am a little bit rusty when you don't play the game for a little bit. Your reads are always going to be a little bit slower. You're going to make mistakes, and that was the case in this video. Just a couple of mistakes, and you'll see that in the second game. But starting out here, we're facing the 49ers. I am using the Dolphins. Dolphins are an exciting team to use in Madden. I wish Tua could have some abilities. He has a kind of a slow release, but they're definitely fun. They have Bradley Chubb now, which I'm not sure why he's such a low overall in this game, but they do have a variety of defensive ends. Now, defensively, we're going to be using the nickel over right there. I'm not exactly sure why my quarter flat just decided not to defend the drag, but it did. But yeah, I like, you guys know the defense kind of strategy I run by now, kind of a combination of match coverage and blitzing with man coverage. So we're starting out in cover 4. Looks like our opponent is going to give us a heavy dose of Kittle throughout this game, but right now we're just kind of feeling him out. That's what I like to do on these offensive drives. Clock management wise, if he's going to take a long drive, give us the whole second quarter, and then we get ball at half, that gives us an opportunity to kind of double dip the chip there if we're going to put together a longer drive. But overall, we want to see what he's going to do, and it looks like he's going to try and stay relatively balanced here with the run and the pass. You see him mixing between there. He gets Deebo Samuel involved, which is a smart thing to do if you're using the 49ers. Definitely would be a good team with Trey Lance, in my opinion. It is unfortunate that he's hurt, but I think you can still use him in Madden, I want to say. There he's going to hand the football off to Deebo, doing his thing, falling forward. This is what the 49ers are good at, running the football. We know them. We do get him in a 3rd and 2 where I'm confident he's going to pass. I'm actually going to a cover 6 here. What I do is I throw that left corner in a hard flat. He does a good job of beating the match coverage with a spacing concept. So that is one of the best ways to beat match coverage this year, if you guys did not know. And now he's going to go back to this deuce close. I'm pretty confident it's a run here. We go to the man coverage, and he's actually going to go play action. And he does beat it with the curls. The curls are actually pretty good against man coverage this year. If you have good timing, you kind of throw it to where they come back to the ball, then it's pretty difficult to intercept it. Definitely don't want a low ball, but just straight up bullet pass, kind of click on, move closer to the football. It seems to work pretty dang well. As you can notice, my opponent did right there. So minute 30 on the clock. He goes to an I-form close formation, predictable halfback ISO, and again, we're doing good at stopping McCaffrey and doing pretty well against the run overall. We're really forcing him to pass, and with the 49ers, you kind of want to force him to pass. You don't want him to be able to run the ball first, second down, that kind of situation, getting those 3rd and shorts. You want him to have to be throwing the ball for long distances, and that's when you watch their key players, mainly Kittle, and now McCaffrey out of the backfield. So we get him to that 2nd and 9. It is taking him a while to pick his play, but he comes out in 3 tight ends, which, again, it's kind of a predictable run formation. Now, he ends up flipping, so I flip my play. I cancel the baseline so we don't have that corner all the way out there. I kind of get messed up right here with my assignments, but thankfully the guy I was made up on was blocking, and we end up picking up that sack. 2 guys getting free, Bradley Chubb and Melvin Ingram, I want to say, or maybe it was Jerome Baker. Either way, yeah, it was Jerome Baker. We pick up the sack on the play action. And that's going to bring us to 3rd and 18. You notice I'm going to actually set my flats to 20 yards. I'm going to go to a simple cover 2 and throw Baker in a little inside third there. Overall, everything should be defended pretty well. Now, I didn't really want to give up the drag, but I end up giving up that deeper route. We are able to wrap him up 4 yards short right there. And overall, that's going to take us to the end of the quarter. It looks like he is showing field goals. So overall, we did our job. We got to kind of look at what he's doing, and he's really going to start throwing to Kittle a lot. So we got to note that in the back of our minds for those longer passing play situations. Maybe we use that right player the next time, make some adjustments. But overall, looks like he is going to stick with the field goal. So I'm going to make sure that I return my flats to default, and overall we are in business to get the ball back and we did our job. As I mentioned earlier in the game, this is kind of what you want to do with your and he actually goes fake. If you notice, I predicted that well. I came out in safe man. So anytime it's like a shorter field goal, 4th and 2s, 4th and 3s, I know some weird stuff might happen. So I usually will just come out in safe man. The odds of you blocking a kick are very low, but if you are going to try and block a kick, 10 plus is your number. But any kind of short distance where they think they can get away with it, create a situation where maybe you have to use her in that play. It probably works if we show block. So good decisions there around. And as far as our U trips, we're in the Las Vegas Raiders playbook. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. We're Raiders offense, and we are Kansas City defense. Now, as far as the audibles go, we have curl flats in there. As far as the run play, you can either go 5-6 trap or power. And then we have scat and slot out. Now, you have an option between slot out and tight end whip. Usually I'll just come out in the play that I don't call, but second game I think I go tight end whip. This game I went slot out, and usually I'll come out in tight end whip. But there's a couple of other good plays in there like tight end deep out, Y option wheel. There's that wheel play with the wide receiver, but you notice I kind of stay balanced good in this game. The next game I did a terrible job at that, not staying balanced. I really threw the ball way too much, and that ultimately is not the best decision when you're facing these favorable run formations. So you want to kind of stay balanced, at least a 3-to-1 ratio at the worst. Ideally, some kind of a 2-to-5, 2 runs, 3 passes type situation. But here we go to slot out. Really all I did there was I just dragged the tight end. I curled X, and then I kind of snapped the ball, creating a couple of situations. We threw that drag just a couple of seconds late, and he ended up getting the late breakout with Trey Greenlaw. Now here we're in the tight end whip. What I like to do out of this play, just as a nice man coverage and end zone coverage beater, is just block my running back and whip that slot receiver, which is Jalen Waddle. It gives you 2 zigs, and then you have those kind of 2 posts deep. Really almost everybody on the field was open there. We did even throw that post a little bit late. Tyreek thankfully able to catch that ball. Now, this is actually when he quits, so that will bring us to our next game, which we are facing a Baltimore Ravens user. And once again, we are starting out on defense, funny enough. Generally, I try with these offensive videos to start out on offense. I set my thing to receive the ball, but we just didn't get it, which is fine. Again, nickel over. We throw in some of our guys. We're using Miami again, and we are at home again. Now, here he comes out in a heavy formation. We're going to, again, use the guy that's on the running back. We actually get some weird thing where he motions, so it changes our assignment to fullback. That's why if you're running man coverage, you usually I like to keep the play art up, because if he motions, sometimes those man coverage assignments will flip. Or again, if he flips play, you just always want to be ready. And again, also if you cancel that base line, your assignment will change as well. But you see, I'm just leaving all those 6 rushers. I'm using the guy on the running back, and I'm going to kind of hover here and try to create a situation where we get a free rusher. Now, this blitz is not as good as before, but I still like it for the run defense. Here I actually went with an adjustment where I threw I want to say I threw a player in an inside third, and then I had a spy. He hit that curl route, as we mentioned earlier in the game, that 49ers game. The curl route's good against man coverage. He executed it well there. You don't have to lowball it. You can just throw it, and the corners do not play the best, especially if they're backed off or you shade over the top. So an adjustment I make is I stop shading over the top a little bit later in the game. Here he gets a nice carry on the ground with that kind of slower power, which I actually don't hate. And it was actually a buck sweep, but it's good against these man coverage blitzes because both of our linebackers are going inside. So if you're able to get that edge, it works perfectly. He's going to go to goal line here, and you'll see an interesting strategy from him. He really stays in this goal line for a long time, which I can't say was the best decision, but it is interesting. And switching up your formations like this can keep a defense off guard. There he goes with a flipped power O. I kind of expected it. He saw that I was using that strong safety, and my guess was that he figured, oh, he's using the safety. We have numbers on the right, which he kind of does, but I was expecting it, so we get him. Here goes toss. Couple of opportunities to make the tackle. Our guys are getting a little bit congested between the blocks, and he actually picks up the first down. But you see he's continuing to go hurry up. Gus Edwards is clearly tired. He has both hands on the knees, which I'm sure a lot of you know is the signal for tired. Here we make the adjustment to use the other guy because we have the slot corner over there. He does give it off to him, which I was thinking play action there. I'm not going to lie. And even a dead tired Gus Edwards is able to pick up 6 untouched, more or less. He's not going to break any tackles because he's gassed, but if we can land a hit stick, we could force a fumble here. So I'm not sure that he noticed that. But again, hurry up. He's going to go right back to the dive. This time you can tell he's probably in the red, honestly. Went from probably orange to red, and now he's maybe even in dark blue. He goes hurry up again. Here's where I'm thinking it could be a pass, but I think I might have run command on that last play as well. But he's going to go right back to the power O, and we're able to wrap him up and finally wrap him up. Somehow Gus the Bus still breaking tackles, but 6 carries, 7 yards, and he's using a lot of clock as well, which, again, we mentioned some of the clock management stuff we want to do. It's going to bring up 4th and 3. You obviously know he's going to switch formations. He's probably subbing out Gus Edwards, and he's going to a 5 wide, which is not the first time we'll see this formation. And I'm kind of deciding between pressure here. I learn later in the game that pressure is probably the best thing to do against this formation. Well, we want to cancel the baseline so he doesn't have any kind of a streak option with those outside receivers. We don't want him to have any room. And overall, if Mark Andrews on a streak there, he probably scores. Thankfully, he was on the in route, and we were able to lurk it with Jerome Baker. But our match definitely played kind of odd there. No one ended up matching with Mark Andrews, and that's just probably because it's a weird formation. 4 wide receivers on one side and 1 on the other probably creates some problems for match, and that is why going forward against that kind of 4 or 5 wide quads, I decided to start going to man coverage. So that's our reasoning behind that. But we do our job on the first drive. We get a stop. And now we have an opportunity to make something happen offensively, which ideally we take a long drive, we score a touchdown, and we're in a good spot there. We're going to begin out, and I'm going to throw the ball a lot more in this game. As I mentioned, I kind of abandoned the run game. We had the out route there, but we'll just take our short pass. And this is something I did not do a good job of going back to as well. I should have, looking back, you could say 1,000 things, but if I just threw drag routes on the field, it would have been so much easier on me. Instead, I feel like I tried to hit the outsides a little bit too much. I'm not sure the reasoning here. He's actually using the corner, almost throw a pick, but we end up completing it, getting into a 3rd and inches. I do think I set up some audibles for the tight Y off so that we can audible down to a dive. I feel less confident in him shooting a halfback dive from under center than I do him shooting an inside zone or especially a power, something like a 5-6 trap that has a slower handoff than a base. So that's what we're going to do. We sub in Jeff Wilson, who is kind of a bigger back, and we audible down to this single back formation. You see I'm identifying the double team here. And one thing I do to kind of throw him off is I motion over Waddle. I feel like this gives us better spacing. You notice he shifts to the right, which is what we want, and we end up picking up his user and almost going for 10 yards. It's definitely something I should have went back to. You can't be lazy, and the lazy thing is just to pass. The more difficult thing is to continue to audible down and run the football, which, again, is a concept that I decided not to do for whatever reason. But, it is what it is looking back on it. But overall, it's going to do for the quarter. Good quarter. We're at midfield. Picked up a couple of first downs already, or picked up that first down, and we're in position to where I feel confident going forward. So that's going to take us to the end of the quarter. And I feel pretty good right now. Now, you'll see that shifts a little bit later. But overall, mistakes were definitely made. And we're just going to show some of the passing plays. Now, again, some of the mistakes I made are a little bit of it's just slightly mistiming. They're not big mistakes. But here we're going to go to that post wheel play. He's running on a cover 2, so my thought process is I'm trying to hit Jalen Waddle here for a big play. Now we actually end up motioning this little weird route with Cedric Wilson back because I have seen this play work kind of in the red zone. But again, we have a drag, and you notice it works perfectly. Why would you not go back to this play? You just picked up dang near 15 yards running it, and that's just something that I should have recognized. The drags have been killer, especially when he's running these deeper zone plays. But, you start looking downfield, that's where you create some problems for yourself. So I go back to the exact same play, create kind of a fake screen wheel. He goes to a weird man match coverage, and I almost throw a pick there. Probably could have been a touchdown if I click on, kind of swerve inside, but again, I'm a little bit rusty, so that is the reason for that. Again, when I'm not making these videos, I don't have a whole lot of time to play online or just play on my free time. I'll play a couple of games here and there, but overall, I don't play the game too often. Again, I'm busy a lot of the times nowadays. So we go back to this double whip setup. I had RB, but A is open as well. The under pressure actually helps us there, although you see it will hurt us a little bit later as well as to a slow release. But he was using the curl flat there, I want to say. And he's really switching up his user a lot. It is kind of throwing me off. He goes from corner to this, and I actually have chew clock on still, which, again, trying to leave him with as least amount of time as possible. And we actually do go back to the ground. We have success. So, why would you not go back to that? Which I cannot tell you. Sometimes you just want to get pass happy. You want to pass. It's more fun to pass the ball. I think we can all agree that. But there's a lot less room for error when you're throwing the ball as much as I was. So we actually do go back to the dive here. He's in this double A gap. Clock management wise, we want to realistically get under 240, but there's a kind of a 5-second difference. You need the play to last for 5 seconds. I just decided to snap the ball. A little bit of lag there I faced, but we end up again picking up 2 yards. It's not the worst thing in the world to pick up 2 yards, and it leaves the room for error when you're running the ball again. That's one less play where you can make a mistake. And we have, of course, one play here. Run perfectly. I probably, should have ran the ball, but in this situation, clock management-wise, I think I snapped the ball again, probably early. It doesn't really matter, but I had maybe the wheel route there, but we actually go with Oppo Taco, and we highball it to Gesicki, and he is open as well. Cover 2. Figured we could split the safeties, and we were able to throw it to the top of the mid-read as well. And simple as that, we're able to go up 6-0. So again, pretty good situation here. We have all the momentum. We got the stop. We got the touchdown. He only has 2 minutes left to work. And if it's the same situation where it's a long drive, at the worst, he gets a field goal before half is what I'm thinking. Now, again, we get the ball there, so we have opportunities. And with these kind of slow drives that we're putting together, I feel like we're in a good spot. Even if we're able to go up 10-3, I don't hate that. So we're going to sky kick it. Again, just limiting our room for mistakes. Sky kick it. And we're going to try and land a hit stick there against Duvernay. We gang tackle him at the 25. So we're going to go right back to the style we've been doing, mixing up the match with the man coverage. I go back to the man coverage here. If you notice, one of my tendencies that I probably should break is that I consistently blitz on the first play of every drive routinely. So if a good player was able to catch that, they could definitely hit a big play on me, which is something that I should probably break. Now, he is in the split close, so I feel a little bit less confident or more confident against this. I actually get stuck, end up using the tight end, and then I'm unable to make the tackle on the screen. I canceled the baseline at the last second because I wanted my guys to be lined up right above the receivers as you would, and ended up switching my assignment. I got stuck on the tight end, so I kind of had to follow him. Wasn't watching the running back. Otherwise, I probably could have picked it. And he ends up hitting it, kind of getting our tackler in a weird situation where I feel kind of dumbed out. And he ends up taking him to the 2-minute warning after picking up 13 yards. So good game by him. Good play call to catch me off guard. Here we're in a situation where I'm trying to move around these guys. When you cancel the baseline, you get stuck on the slot corner, and then they're in the same area. So clicking onto him, I clicked on the outside guy, then the inside guy. But one-on-one with Mark Andrews, it's a good read to go to, and this is why the man coverage might even be better for me to use at the tight end. I'm not sure what route that was. I guess it was that stop route, but I guess perfect timing there to kind of catch him on the crosser. And then Eric Rowe, I'm not sure what that tackle attempt was, but he ends up scoring a touchdown. I guess not the worst case scenario because now we have time to go make a play on offense. So, it is what it is. But it is definitely unfortunate. I felt like that is not ideally what we wanted to happen. As, we mentioned what we kind of wanted to happen earlier. And, it is unfortunate. But we have an opportunity to score at least before the half. So, again, worst case scenario would have been him scoring as time expired and he gets a touchdown. But that wasn't the case. And we still have the chance to do something ourselves. So, going back to the U trips, we're going to go right back. We're actually going to hit scat for probably the first time all video. I feel like if he's running any kind of a cover 3, cover 2, we should be able to hit him. It looked like some kind of weird match coverage. I really wasn't ready for it, and we take a sack. He calls timeout immediately, playing pretty aggressive, which if we're able to score, could be definitely hurt him. Now he goes to this weird formation. He's going to the prevent. Here I'm expecting a little man coverage, but he brings that slot corner down, so I feel like it's some kind of a cover two. Or Marlon Humphrey brings that left corner down. So I just be on a little streak, and I go high ball. I think I went bullet pass there, but click on swerve inside. That I didn't realize that was an outside third, and he came down pretty fast. But overall, we completed it, and now we're almost in field goal range. So good pass right there. He stays in this formation, which this formation, for whatever reason, gave me a lot of trouble. One reason, I didn't run the ball. But we go straight to curl flats. I had the running back. I'm trying to hit RB, but, he just got bumped, literally pass interfered with. And here we're in the situation where, look at Gesicki. He's going to run to the middle of the field, and then he just decides to stop. We throw a pick. That is my fault, but, if you go back, you can watch the play. Gesicki was going to run wide open, that middle of the field. I was waiting for someone to bounce up field from the right. He's going there. I throw it when he's moving, and then he stops right as I throw the ball, and it's picked. So, again, poor decision-making. I probably could have taken off with Tua, but now we throw a pick. You know what we're going to do? We're going to blitz right away. I decide to use this guy, and we end up picking up what should have been a sack. He's throwing a pick, if anything. I make the adjustment against his quads to go to man coverage. We went to match last time, and what I do is I use that blitzer. I try and hover for a second, fake the blitz inside to create a mismatch and ultimately try and free up our D end. But it does work there. And this time it doesn't work, but he hits Andrews. Again, we got to try and hold him to 3 here. A touchdown would be brutal in this spot. He calls timeout, and we got to defend here. Giving him a touchdown would be very devastating to the boys. He's going to go to the Y-off trio here. What I try and do is I try and bring down Eric Rowe as much as I can. I'm not shading over the top here so that he can't throw a stupid curl route, and he ends up running the ball with Kenyon Drake. Thankfully, we had a shed from Xavier Howard. Otherwise, that could have been a touchdown. Bad user there. And again, those outside runs, when both your linebackers are blitzing inside, they're not playing the run as well. He's going to go to quick little man beater. Nothing is open. Then you probably try to hit that slant. Since we didn't shade over the top, it was not open. And we pick up the sack, uses his last time out. So I feel good here. I'm kind of in the situation where, what do I do? Do I just continue to play aggressive, try and sack him, force him into his mistake, not getting the field goal off? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play aggressive. I'm not going to. I thought about going to some kind of a cover 2, but we're going to send pressure. Here I kind of contemplate throwing a couple zones out there, but overall nothing open. He does the smart thing, which is to throw the football away, taking a sack there. I don't think he's able to get it off, which is another reason why I blitzed. If he takes a sack there, I don't know that he gets off the field goal because you can't go no huddle. You can't spike the ball either. You have to call the huddle, and sacks with the runoffs are pretty significant. And then you have to take the time to kick the field goal. So good decision by him to throw the football away. He does leave us a little bit of time, but not really enough to where we can put together something. We actually do get pretty close, but overall, a massive choke there on the interception. Again, it couldn't have been prevented, but when the play breaks down like that, I should have really just threw the ball away. Of course, hindsight's 2020. I thought he was going to be wide open. We'd be in scoring position, but I haven't been in too many broken play situations like that. Nobody's really two-man rushed me this year for anything. More people blitz, but he's in the same formation. It worked. So we're just going to run the same play. I think I have B here. I try and highball it. We actually do complete it. X is probably the better read, but Cedric Wilson's more of my aggressive catcher. And we actually do complete it. With the better guy, maybe it's interception, but we're down to the 48. We have 2 timeouts. We definitely have a chance to score. The guy I'm looking at here is Waddle or Tyreek. Cover 2 situation. We can eat either of them. And RB is open. I try and throw it to X, and I don't know what happened there. It would have been a completion, but that just kind of stinks. RB was definitely more open, but got maybe a little bit antsy in the pocket. We still have time to get in field goal range here. Probably just a simple streak to Tyreek would have done it looking back, but we try and go to the same play. I'm trying to hit Waddle here if I'm not mistaken. And we have him open, and actually no. So just a straight up streak is probably not the best idea. You need some kind of a flat against cover 2. So bad play design here. Yeah, 4 seconds. I'm not in field goal range. You can't really quick snap a throw, so I think I just try and throw it deep to somebody, and that's I think I flipped the play to try and get Tyreek on that deep post. I don't know why I was thinking that, but his route does not flip. And I think I just throw him on like a streak and try and highball it over the top. It actually is a close attempt, but just not enough space. If I had more space, the play probably works, just a streak to Tyreek. But you'll notice we end up having good pocket here. Throw it over the top. You see we end up getting a step on him, but kind of have to stop to the ball because there's no space in the end zone and it's broken up. Again, if we're at the 7-yard line, maybe that's a touchdown, but who knows? The high ball rat catch animations are pretty bad, and I maybe get tackled, but who knows? So 10-7, down at the half. The stupid interception costed me. We played pretty good defense, I would say. Again, the broken play touchdown to Mark Andrews hurt us, but the interception hurt us worse, and then not executing at the end of the half to get a field goal definitely is a blemish on the record. But that can all be erased if we just go down and put together 7. So that's what we're going to try and do here with Tua. And you notice, what have I not done since that first drive? I really have not ran the ball at all. So, and I don't think I run the ball once in this entire half. I don't know that I do. Here we almost throw a pick, try and quick snap it. It's in a hard flat. It was like some weird cover 2 invert, but I figured he was in the deep zone, but I forget that this dude runs cover 2. Cover 2 plays weird this year. You kind of have to throw it like a perfect situation almost, but I just was too anxious. So we tried and spaced something together. I'm looking for B or Raheem Mostert. A little spacing concept with the tight end whip. I had X open. We just throw it to A. He picks up a decent gain, 5 yards. But I really should have just been more patient. And you notice what would have worked there, drag route. He hasn't ran man coverage in a while. Why not just throw a drag on the field? Again, I'm looking for the big play. I'm trying to hit Cedric Wilson on this little unbumpable fade. I'm figuring that it's cover 2, so we throw that little route in the middle of the field. It's not, and thankfully we were able to hit Raheem there in the flat. So good gain by us overall, but it's kind of a struggle. You notice we're getting to more third downs than we were earlier. We want to be ahead of the sticks. We don't want to have to do that. We go to curl flats here, kind of stock, snap the ball. We have Raheem Mostert again, so we're just going to take it. But you notice I'm throwing the ball outside a lot. It's just a lot. He's going to adjust. He's going to hard flat. And every time he did that, I kind of got in a situation where it's taking a long time for my routes in the middle of the field to develop, so just not good play design. I don't have a little underneath drag that would beat it, but I mean, we're moving the ball. We haven't had any problems on offense besides the interception. And again, I'm trying to beat this cover 2 strategically. Every time I go to a cover 2 beater, it seems he's switching his play. Here he goes to cover 3 or some kind of a weird man coverage. But we have the zig out there, good adjustment, and it beats it. Jalen Waddle. And for whatever reason, that hit stick, I'm not sure exactly why, but Jalen Waddle, I don't think ever got back to 100% fatigue after that hit stick. Even with our momentum, it just did not happen. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but it was costly. And Jalen Waddle just never got back to 100%. I don't know if no one had an ability. We had missed the read with Jalen Waddle there, but we were able to playmaker, Mostert, some good pocket there, and we're down to the 15-yard line. So this drive has been really good. He's mixed up his coverage as well. Cover 4, man coverage, cover 2, and now match with the cover 6. But overall, we're picking it apart. We're putting together routes that would beat any coverage. Here, I try and I actually do run the ball. And again, what happens? It works. You run the ball, it works. Why would you not go back to it? I think I just try and throw the ball here. But, we'll see what happens. And I think he backs him off. My thought process here is I can throw Tyreek Hill on a little zig route, and I think I might be able to get in the end zone. So that's exactly what I do. Tyreek Hill on a little zig route. We have a little option out there, and then B, Cedric Wilson might get open here. Looks like the zig is open, and I threw it. I don't know what the problem was there. I might have threw it outfield. I probably threw it a little bit late. But Chuck Clark makes it a really good play, and that just is brutal. I mean, you put together a long drive, dink and dunk down the field, and then just make one mistake, and it's over. And that's what I mean by why I'm not kind of ashamed to post this game, because overall on offense, I played really well. The setups worked, and that setup worked as well. It was just bad timing. You got a high ball there. That's my fault. I feel, for whatever reason, I felt like I could just fit that in. And maybe a pass to the outside does it, but Chuck Clark's taller. He's more of an athletic safety, and he ends up making the play there. And that is unfortunate for the boys. But, you still have an opportunity here to score a touchdown, get a stop, and win the game. So we're going to go back to work on offense. And this is an offensive video, so you guys get to see more setups. I'm not mad at that necessarily. And again, the offense was kind of the problem, but it also was not necessarily the problem. We have drive down, but it's just been my mistakes, not necessarily the setups. So really been user error. The Kasicki one, I can't really blame that on myself. Those broken plays, they're weird. You really have to wait for someone to be wide open to throw it to them because you never know where they're going. There's just no fluidity. Here we actually run the ball. Again, what happens when you run? We pick up yards. We're averaging a ton of yards per carry, over 9 point, 3. We're averaging 9 yards a carry, and against this stupid prevent, I could literally just run the ball all day. But I decided to throw here, snap the wheel, and it works. And again, it's a passing formation, so I think you guys like to see me throw the ball a little bit. We haven't really been too efficient. 13 for 20 is not great. It's not terrible, though, and Mostert's a little bit tired there, so we take him out. He's going to actually press here, which makes things a little bit more complicated. I feel like it's man coverage, so we throw a couple of man beaters on the field with RB. He backs him up. I feel like B's open. He actually ends up getting bumped, so we're able to hit Jalen Waddle against cover 2 there. And we pick up some nice yards. Again, it's called cover 3, but it really is a cover 2 with just a middle third and 2 outside thirds. It is kind of a difficult play to beat because you can't really beat it on the sidelines. Here he ends up switching formations again. I'm pretty confident that I can hit Jalen Waddle here, and he just does not make the catch. It's really unfortunate. I mean, maybe I click on make the catch, but he's got to make that possession catch. And again, for whatever reason, he's just tired. I don't know why he is randomly just tired, but I think I just run the ball here, 3rd and inches, and we're patient. We get not even a yard there. We pick up an inches, but again, it's a successful run play, and I should have went back to it. Again, we don't have a lot of time here. Regardless of if we score a field goal or a touchdown, we need to stop. And, we can't really let him get too many first downs. You want to try and do whatever you're doing as fast as possible. So that's why running the ball with a 40-second play clock, significant shoe clock time, at least 20 seconds, it's just not the best for clock management. So we try and throw the ball. We try to pick up more yards. I was picking a lot of yards up with the run, but here's where you kind of got to abandon the run game until the red zone. So we're going back to the double tight end whip setup. We haven't really ran too many constant setups. We've really been mixing it up based on what he's doing, which is always fun to do. His user falls down. I moved off that read when I saw him using it. I'm not going to lie. You progress through your read. So you're wondering, why did he not throw that ball? That was my first read. He's using it. I moved to the right side of the field with the other zig. It went zig, zig, and then later the play we go to the post route. So we threw it to Waddle. He did get out of bounds. That's a successful play in my book. We're close to field goal range, which is fine. We go to this corners play, which very good. I should have went to it more. It has these deeper corner routes, and you see I really go with this setup a lot. The corner routes are caged, so this is where we're in a broken play situation. I throw the ball away. If you notice, what also happened is Jeff Wilson just fell down. He literally just fell down. He would have been open. That would have been who I'm throwing it to because he's defending the middle of the field with Gesicki on his post. But Jeff Wilson falls down. I get in a situation where, I only have deep routes on the field. He's playing deep, and I have to throw this ball away. Again, against cover 2, I'm not sure why I continue to throw the streak out. I should have just threw a smoke screen. But we're trying to pick up big plays. We go to the screen, wheel, and then we ultimately audible to scat here. I throw Cedric on just a little zig route over there. We put Tyreek on a zig as well, and then I end up really it's just a zone coverage man beater. B is open. We actually end up, thankfully, clicking on to keep him in bounds. But that is also unfortunate because now we have to go hurry up. And again, I'm not really thinking too much of these setups. I got to get these plays off quick, so there's not a whole lot that goes into them. We throw this read. Again, the snap throw is just a little bit slower. He's throwing kind of across his body with that throw since he's a lefty. And it's just a slow release. You can't really throw these quick snap wheels the way you could with Rodgers or Elway or anybody in Ultimate Team. Josh Allen. We go with scat here, slant, corner out. He only rushes 2, and I mean, nothing is really open. We just thankfully fake out his user with a little playmaker of the tight end. But again, we're inbounds. The clock is moving. You want to get in a situation where you have a little bit of leeway. Maybe he's allowed to get 1 first down, but you need points here. We're trying to do that. We go with just, again, 1 hot route's all I can do. I throw RB on a drag. He's open, but we try and go for B, and this is where Tua's accuracy kills us. I mean, it is almost probably a touchdown. I know it's Cedric Wilson. He probably gets tackled, but in this situation, you got to take the points. You need the ball back anyway, so we're going to take the points, keep us in the game, because if you don't get the first down here, the game is over. So that's what we're doing. We end up hitting the field goal with piss poor accuracy, and we go down 17-10. Now, all we have to do is get a stop and we get the rock back, so I don't feel god-awful about the situation, but of course, we're not feeling the best. I would have loved to get the touchdown there, and that would have made things a whole lot easier. So it is definitely unfortunate, but, we move on, and all you got to focus on is the stop. That's all you're worried about, the stop. You can't focus too much on worrying about the touchdown here. What's important is that you get off the field. Now, 3 minutes and 16 seconds gives us maybe a little bit of leeway, but with needing the touchdown, you really don't want to allow a first down, especially if it's on third down. If you want to allow a first down, it's got to be on first down right here, this first play of the drive. Now, he's going heavy. I'm expecting the run, so we're going to blitz. We're going to cancel the baseline, bring those boys inside. We're going to use this slot corner here, and he's actually going to run it backside, I want to say. We have our blitzer loop right through perfectly. Stiffs arm on, but that's fine. We make the stop, and we're going to wait to use our timeouts. Again, you don't want to use the timeouts unless you don't have to. 2nd and 11, especially if he's in a situation where he passes on third down, which depends on how his clock management is going to be. So we'll see how he plays it out. He's going to go to Y-off trio, which is a formation that he's ran the ball in and threw the ball. He's really mainly ran the buck sweep. So we are, again, playing the run. I go back to the Overstorm Brave. We cancel the baseline. We press. We're not shooting over the top. We bring the safety down, hopefully to defend Mark Andrews. And we're trying to bait him into some kind of an interception. If he blocks the running back, we're going to go lurk Mark Andrews. He's going to take the play clock down, and he's going to run the ball. Thankfully, we have a lot of guys out there to make the play. He is able to stay in bounds, but that is going to take us to the 2-minute warning, which, again, I'm not going to use a timeout here. Maybe looking back on it, I do, but, it doesn't matter. The difference is insignificant, and I'm expecting him to probably throw the ball here. He goes to the 5 wide. That will, again, take us to the 2-minute warning regardless. So he's going to go 5 wide, which, again, we don't want to go match against because Mark Andrews is wide open if he's on a streak. But what we're going to do is we are going to bring down those guys. We can't allow him to snap throw anything. We can't allow him to get on that one-on-one with Mark Andrews where he is able to hit him and then instantly break the tackle. So we're going to use our heads here and be smart about it. So we're going to bring down Eric Rowe. We're going to bring down Javon Holland. We're going to use our Jerome Baker here. We're going to try and fake inside, get the sack. I'm expecting pass. He's hot routing. What he ends up doing is going with a QB blast. But it was very key with my user. What I did there is I was expecting pass, so I faked inside, but I was able to bounce outside. I click off, so we make the tackle. I didn't even know there was QB blast in that formation, but we call our timeout. And the poor clock management, I should have called timeout before 2-minute warning, saves us maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. But he's kicking it off to Tyreek. I'm trying to make a play. Cutting back to the left would have been the move. I tried to do that, but we get hit sticked, and now I'm like, oh, God, well, now Tyreek hurt. Or thankfully, he's not fatigued. But Jalen Waddle, for whatever reason, is still in the light blue. But we have an opportunity here to score a touchdown. We have to go 75 yards with 2 timeouts. We need some big plays. We need some corner outs. We need some post routes. That's what we're going to try and do. So I'm going to try and hit corner out first play with Jalen Waddle, or I'm actually going to try and hit Cedric Wilson. Here, again, we try and, I think that was a high ball. It's just so annoying how fast that outside third gets down. Since it's not a deep half, the timing is just off with that throw. You kind of have to click inside, and safety made a good play there. So there's no foul in that. It took 2 seconds, and if you pick it up, it's a 20-yard gain. So, we don't hate that. Now, we are going to try and throw these deeper post routes with Cedric Wilson on this drive. We can't afford to really dink and dunk. And if we do, it has to be out of bounds. We need like zig routes rather than these in routes. So Jalen Waddle's probably open there. We hit Tyreek late, which works, and we pick up 9 and we get out of bounds. So that play we'll do. We will love that. Now, Cedric Wilson, for whatever reason, is dead tired. I have no idea why that is the case, but he is. 3rd and 1, he's going to stay, and he's doing a good job of making he's not giving up any big plays. These corner outs, they're difficult to get open. We're trying to hit Jalen Waddle on them, and we're just throwing Tyreek on little slants that where if he gets the ball, he's picking up deep yardage. We are forced to kind of check it down here. We pick up the first down, but that is costly, 7 seconds, and the clock is moving down 80 seconds now. We don't have time to hot route. We have to snap the ball, and oh my God, RB is wide open. Somehow his double team sheds our best offensive lineman, Teron Armstead, and our left guard. I do not know how he split that double team so fast, but that would have been a huge play for us. Now, he would have been out in bounds. I've maybe used my timeout there, but that is just, it's brutal because that's a 20 to 30 yard gain, 20 yards probably minimum. So again, we see that the post route's open, so we're going to run a different play to mix it up and try and hit X or B. X kind of open there. This time it's Levine, and he makes a better play at that. Again, maybe if I wait a little bit more time, throw it to B, but the timing is just off. You guys can tell that I'm not making good reads, and we're in 3rd and 10 here. So again, we have moved 10 yards, and it's taken us already a lot of time. 40 seconds, and we've moved 11 yards. That's not a good ratio. Thankfully, we have an incomplete pass. We have time to make this read, and we have RB, and thankfully, the boy Jaden Waddle comes up with it. He gets hit 6. We're going to burn timeout. It would have been a large runoff. That's a good timeout, in my opinion. We get everybody back to healthy, and we're at the 41, so it is a little bit tough. You need a 20-yard play on this set of downs, and you cannot get sacked again. We're going to try and hit B on the outside or X. We don't have time, and what happens is I was expecting Waddle to sit. I didn't know he would bounce back so fast. We throw the pick, and that's going to do it. If you guys enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.